claims, October 3rd and October 10th.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims from October 3rd and October 10th, 2015.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm going to deviate from the written agenda a little bit, and I have a little statement to read here. Game-changing event, by definition, is a new and different idea that stands out from the crowd. An idea that completely changes the way a situation develops. Today, I have an important announcement with regard to what the Commissioners view as a game-changing project for Porter County. With regard to Porter County's transportation system, we have many great roads that link our communities and points of interest. These roads transport products produced in our region, provide a means of connection to employment, both within and outside Porter County, link our communities, and provide residents mobility and opportunities. For this and other reasons, our transportation system is one of the things that make Porter County a great place to live and work. We are blessed with prime east-west roads that extend from border to border across our county. I-94, the Indiana Toll Road, US 6, US Highway 12, US Highway 20, State Road 2, and State Road 8. However, there exists only one north-south road that traverses this entire county, State Road 49, which serves the east half of the county. The current network of road was developed many years ago and has remained virtually unchanged in light of the shift of our population and the employment demographic of the county. There exists no road that provides connectivity through the county on the west side. In 2011, the Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission adopted the 2040 Comprehensive Regional Plan for Northwest Indiana. The regional plan was created by a comprehensive vision for sustainable growth and revitalization of Lake and Porter and LaPorte counties. In cooperation with many communities throughout the region, Porter County contributed in the process of developing this award-winning plan. To address the lack of a north-south connectivity on the west side of the county, an extension of Willow Creek Road from Portage south was included in this comprehensive plan. One of the obvious potential benefits of an extension of Willow Creek Road is the enhancement of our transportation network for the west side of the county. However, to qualify as a game-changing event, the extension of Willow Creek Road must also serve the purpose in providing long-term employment opportunities while at the same time preserving many of the attributes that make Porter County one of the best places to live. It is our belief that thoughtful planning would enhance development and redevelopment in strategic areas, which in turn encourages additional employment opportunities for our residents and growth in our tax base. The feasibility study will address potential improvements to County Road 100 South. The Commissioners are sensitive to the fact that in the past, previously planned improvements to this roadway created controversy among the residents that reside along the road. However, we must address various functional and safety deficiencies that plague County Road 100 South. Our aim is not to construct a superhighway through the south part of the county, but to address known safety issues, maintain a passable road to serve the South County residents. Starting after today's meeting, the Commissioners will begin the process to examine the feasibility of the extension of Willow Creek Road from County Road 700 North South and to County Road 100 South improvements by soliciting proposals from professionals that are experienced in this type of work. Since federal funding is anticipated to be used in the initial future phase of the feasibility study, Porter County would be using INDOT procedures for the selection of a consultant and the execution of this work. I want to assure the public that no preconceived plans for the Willow Creek Road extension have been developed. The purpose of the initial work is to examine options and, more importantly, the feasibility of Willow Creek Road extension and County Road 100 South improvements. Progress for this effort will be presented at the Commissioners' meeting and other public events. Furthermore, it is our goal that input from the public will be included throughout this process. If executed correctly, with public input, this project meets the Jobs Cabinet's mission statement of truly being a game-changing event. So, that's what I want to say this afternoon. And I think that this project will bring, our county council is in dire need of money. And there's only two ways that they're going to be able to balance the budget. And that's either they're going to cut, or they're going to have to grow our assessed valuation. This is the only project that I know of that can do both. I mean, it's gonna cut the fat out of the budget, because we're gonna be working for a lean project, but it's also gonna grow the assessed valuation. The economic corridors that will be developed by this project are tremendous, and it's what the job cabinet intended. We have to address those people's wishes and desires, and we have to grow our AV in this county if we're ever going to get a budget that we can work with. So, that's all I got to say this morning. More like exchange your pictures there. Okay, we're going to receive and open bids for a roof replacement project. This is at South County? Or
There's three.
Oh, three of them, okay. Mike's here from the okay. How about, I know some of these are kind of complex, so why don't we take, we'll open the bids, and how about a reasonable period of time? I don't think we can do it today, can we? Can you take them under advisement, judge them on the criteria, and return some recommendations to us?
Certainly.
About 1 week. 1 week. This is a bid category A, Museum of History, bid category B, Juvenile Service Center, and bid category C, Expo Center. And this bid is from Corellis Roofing Incorporated. And that's all I'm going to do is read those who have bid and let you do the rest of the work, Mike. This one is from EC Bavilla Incorporated, Gary, Indiana. This one is from Maris and Son Incorporated, Boulder, Indiana. That's the extent of it. And we'll turn those over to you and we'll let you go through them. So we'll report with them. There are three bidders and 3 projects, so that's 9 reviews.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Please don't be for the auditor's office, because I'll need to address some of your office about today. We've got an amendment to ordinance 99-22, revising Porter County Board of Health fee structure and food service establishments. This is the second reading.
Yeah, good afternoon. I see the Dean changing his language.
Changing is definitely on our agenda.
As you alluded to, John, we're here for second reading of the ordinance that will modify the fee structure for the retail food establishment inspection program. Sheila and Juanita are 2/3 of our team at the health department who will be administering this. Since we were last here, we listened to our constituency, and we have made one change to what you saw on first reading. You may recall on first reading, as we transferred from number of employees to square footage, we had divided our restaurants into 3 categories. In thinking about that and getting some feedback, we've now created a 4th category on the upper end of the scale for the truly mega facilities. We had called a mega facility as 10,000 or more. We upped that because we learned candidly there were a couple of restaurants that we didn't realize were 10,000 square feet, and we just didn't think it was fair to call them mega. That's the only change. We still think it will generate the $185,000 to make the program self-sufficient again. 2 things, though, that we are going to do, because the square footage is a new area for us, and we candidly haven't been out and measured all 700 restaurants yet. We're going to leave the door open when we send out the bills for the permits for 2014. If somebody feels they're being treated unfairly, we will give them an opportunity to be heard and may make some adjustments in 2014. And then if we see a pattern of a need of a change, then we'll be back to you later in 2014 in anticipation of 2015. We're comfortable that that will be a fair way to implement the new system. And the other thing we're doing with this, as I shared with you, is we're candidly getting a little tougher in terms of making sure that these permits are acquired in a timely fashion. In the past, the us around until March, and we're not gonna do that. So we're here, answer any questions you may have, but ask the commissioners to adopt the ordinance so that we can begin, and these ladies are ready to go. They've got their letters ready, and 700 of them are gonna go out tomorrow if you approve this today, and we're gonna get going on implementing the new system.
The appeals process has been added to the ordinance, or is it just?
It's just something we're committed to. I didn't want to muddy this up with a temporary provision that you're gonna have to take back out, but I'm telling you, that's what we will do.
My only other question would be, is since we've amending the ordinance, do we need to have two readings on it, or can we approve it as amended? Anyone have any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to ordinance 99-22, revising the Porter County Board of Health fee structure and food service taxes.
On second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Proceed.
Thank you very much, and we will embark on the task of our new system, and we'll keep you up to speed in terms of hopefully it's smooth sailing.
Are you here for the next meeting?
I am.
An ordinance establishing tattoo parlor body piercing facility regulations on the first reading.
And Kelly is our staff person that will be involved with this, and Drew?
Yeah.
Want to come up?
Sure.
As I've alerted you to, and I have communicated with you, and I would pause and say, as much as the last exercise was a catching up exercise, this we're on the cutting edge of. We're ahead of most counties in terms of this process. One of the things that we've discovered, and this is a lament that we all have, the State Board of Health promulgates a bunch of regulations for the operation of tattoo parlors, and then hires no one to inspect or take care of it, and just sends us a letter saying, oh, by the way, we'd like you to see these new regulations. It's your responsibility to enforce them.
We're familiar with unemployment.
Right, that's, I thought you'd be sympathetic to that. But Kelly has been responsible for what we've done up to this point. What we've done up to this point has been reactive. When we got a complaint from someone, and candidly, we've gotten some complaints, Kelly would go out and work with the owner of the establishment. And as the health department and the Board of Health looked at this, we decided that this is becoming more of a popular activity. I think we're now up to 9 or 10 of tattoo body piercing facilities in Porter County. We needed to become more proactive. And we got a hold of the tattoo operator, the facility operators, and Drew is with us today. I'm sorry, I forget the name of your establishment. Bluebird Tattoo. And I have to tell you, I've really been impressed with the people who own these facilities. They've come forward, they've worked with us, we've had a series of meetings with the owners, and Drew's kind of here today representing the owners. I think I can speak from them. Our last meeting we had yesterday with them, they are enthusiastically in support of this type of activity. I think they feel that they want to be ahead of the curve as well, and they want to be in a position to say that they're doing the right things. I will pause and say what we're not doing. We're not licensing tattoo artists. That would be way beyond our capabilities and our abilities, and I candidly don't know how we'd start doing that. What we're doing is we're providing a regulatory system and a permit and inspection of the facilities where this art form takes place. And we think there's probably 9 or 10 of them at this point. It's a growing industry. We have reason to believe that we will see more of these as this art form becomes more mainstream in our society. What you have before you for first reading today, and I worked with Betty on a couple of these things, is our effort in a first draft of an ordinance that would establish the Porter County Health Department and the staff's regulatory authority to go into these facilities. We would be enforcing the state guidelines at this point and nothing more. And Kelly, why don't you talk a little bit about those guidelines and what's involved?
They're very similar to, like a doctor's office, mainly have to do with infection sampling,
ensuring that they're using good safety.
Drew, why don't you tell me a little bit, there are some things that the artists have to do now in terms of certification and requirements.
Yeah, all the artists are required to have a, like she said, a Red Cross certificate and like pathogens. And then otherwise, they're just better like trained on how to handle surface grants and all that. We've already been doing this actually for about 3 years now, going through the inspection process. She called it sort of like the drivers and stuff like that, but like, you know, enforcement and then participating and doing the inspections yearly. But we're hoping that this gives the health department and how the state guidelines.
Are the artists required to be CPR trained?
We'll answer any questions you may have. We are, with no additional staff, we are prepared to embark upon this task. The permit fee is $100. In my mind, a reasonable fee. And Kelly will be inspecting them, and Kelly has always been, you know, I'm here to help you approach, and that's, we will continue to do that. But we really think we need to get on top of this early and get a handle on it, because we believe it's a growing phenomenon.
Is there a penalty or fine structure?
Yes, there's a penalty and fine structure that's very similar to the restaurant ordinance, and Betty and I had some email exchanges on that. And I don't want to lecture you in the law, but once we give them a permit, Indiana law says they have a property right, a 14th Amendment property right in that permit, so we can't revoke it or fine them absent due process under the 14th Amendment. And due process consists of two things. Number one, notice. We have to tell them they're in violation. And number two, they have to be given an opportunity to be heard. So this ordinance has a notification process. Actually, the way it works is if Kelly goes in there and there's a violation, she cites them. Nothing happens other than getting cited. Then she goes back a second time. If it's still there, then they will be notified of our intent to suspend or revoke their permit, and we will schedule a hearing, a show cause hearing, where they'll have a right to come in and try to justify or minimize or mitigate the nature of it. Our experience with restaurants, that notice that you're going to get suspended or revoked has an impact. Very rarely, as in my 40 years around here, very rarely has the health department had to even have a hearing about a restaurant. Just that notice of what's wrong, and they usually get it cleaned up and fixed up before we actually have a hearing. I suspect that's the same thing that will happen. Like I said, I mean, I couldn't speak more highly of the operators of these facilities. I was, maybe because I'm 66 years old today. I come from an age where and I've shared this with you, where tattooing was not mainstream. And so, Laura, Anita will kill me. Laura knows my life. She would kill me if I don't. But these guys are professionals. They worked with us. They accepted the responsibility. I would give them a copy of the draft, and they'd come back with good ideas. So I'm very optimistic that Kelly will have a good opportunity to work with them, and we'll have high quality, clean, good tattooing going on in Border. Not with me, but with anybody else who would like a tattoo.
You get this one figured out, we'll send you a gentleman's place. Any questions? Drew, I got to echo Attorney Holbrook's comments. It's always a lot easier to police your own. I mean, you guys have qualifications and the knowledge and the artistry to do your job, but it's easy for somebody to come in and imitate you or not, you know, cut the corners and not do things right. So your whole group needs to be commended for policing your own. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance for the regulatory authority on tattoo parlors and body piercing stores.
game changing.
Well, you like that. Well, you're getting kind of old, I didn't know if you're up to it. Okay, Lorelei, promotion of Porter County presentation.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. The presentation today is on Northern Indiana Tourism Development Commission. We consider this probably one of the best kept secrets in our area. We were created in 1991. I've been with our organization at the time of the creation. I have been a board member, and I was a president for 5 years. Just want to give you a little bit of history. Before Northern Indiana Tourism was formed, we had a 3-county initiative called Indiana's North Coast, which consisted of Lake, Porter, and LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. In 1991, the Indiana Department of Transportation decided that they were in the business of managing a road, and so they no longer wanted to manage gas, food, or travel on the toll road. So they farmed out those 3 things, and for travel, they went to the Elkhart County Convention and Visitors Bureau and asked if they would manage the travel along the Indiana toll road. She said, well, there's 7 counties, so it only makes sense that maybe we would form an organization. So she got all 7 of us together that are on the toll road. We got a grant from the Indiana Department of Commerce, and we were able to hire staff, and from that was born the I-8090 Tourism Development Commission. In Northwest Indiana, the 3 of us said 3 was good as a regional effort, but 7 is better. So we all opted to disband the 3, Indiana's North Coast, and put our energy towards 8090. The state tourism office was so impressed with what we did, they created other regions like ours throughout the state. And those weren't as successful because that was more of a top-down approach. But they had 2 counties that were hanging out there in the north that were Marshall County and Kosciuszko, and they asked us if we would absorb those into northern Indiana. And we said, that's fine, but we are a pay-to-play organization, and they have to follow our rules, and it's worked out great. So we expanded to 9. And we changed our name to Northern Indiana Tourism because 2 of our members were not on the actual toll road. We also expanded our scope from not only marketing on the toll road, but we included a retail marketing program, a research program, and also product development. We did go back to 7 counties, and these are the 7 counties that are in the membership. We go from Porter County all the way to LaGrange County. We've got Notre Dame Country and Amish Country in our partnership as well. Now, this is the thing that people don't realize. We've been working for 22 years. We have 350 private sector businesses that are partners with Northern Indiana. We have a contract with the Indiana Department of Finance Authority. We also still work with the Indiana Department of Transportation. We do research, and currently we are working with Temple University and Purdue University, and we've also worked with the University of Illinois in the past. We also have a relationship with the Indiana Office of Tourism. And when the toll road was leased, the new concessionaire that actually manages the toll road contracted with our organization to continue with the travel. They've been so impressed with what we've accomplished that they've actually given us additional opportunities to market Indiana on the toll road itself. Our motto is really simple. These are the 7 brands. Our motto is pretty simple. What can we do together that we can't do on our own? There are things that we're doing in Indiana Dunes Country that do not make sense for Amish Country, and vice versa. So there's other things that we can do that we can never do on our own, and we'll show you some of those initiatives. First of all, just to give you an idea of our geographic market, our market is Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis. Within that triangle, there's 32 million people that are vying for these visitors. Michigan has over a $20 million budget. Wisconsin has a strong budget, and the state of Indiana is one of the lowest in the state of $750,000 budget. So up here in the north, we have to be creative in terms of how do we go after Chicago and Indianapolis, which are very expensive markets. So just to show you what we're doing, on the Indiana Toll Road, there are 80 million vehicles annually that are driving that toll road. That's not truckers. There's 1.5 visitors per vehicle. There's 10 travel plazas, and we're in all 10 travel plazas. And we also have 2 manned visitor centers, and we welcome about 12 million visitors annually at these plazas. What you're seeing is the visitor's guide that tells you what you can get off at the different exits. We have brochures that businesses can distribute their brochures that they pay to do that. And then the technology is the TAP program that Red's device. We got that from Savannah, Georgia. And what's that allowing is the visitor can look and see what hotels, restaurants, and attractions are along the toll road. And they can have it sent to they can have it texted to them, or they can have it emailed, and then coupons can be emailed as well, so that we can drive business into our area. When you're on the toll road, we want to make sure that you know you're in Indiana. We want you to know that along the toll road, you don't see what's literally in these communities, from Amish to Notre Dame to Indiana Dunes. So we have these banners that are hanging in the travel plaza. The other thing we've done is what we can't do on our own is I can't be in the Chicago Tribune. It's very expensive. So from April through September, we're taking that ad, that color page ad, and we are buying down the rate so significantly that our private businesses can come in under the Chicago Tribune banner that we bought. We also, the ad to the right is in Midwest Living. We're in every publication except for one, and that ad right there for one publication is, for one magazine, is $30,000. And again, I cannot afford this on our own, but by merging us together, we've been able to do that. The other thing we did is we abandoned our individual websites, and now we have 8 websites, and we're using the same infrastructure, but it allows me to have my own sub-site, and then we have IndianaDunes.com, and it's branded that way. However, the consumer doesn't know that we're marketing, we're using the same infrastructure, and we're promoting each other, we're cross-promoting each other. And we've also ventured into product development. We went to Asheville, North Carolina, and they were very successful in establishing the Art and Earth Trail. So they came and gave us the secret of how to develop this trail. Visitors want things that are unique, and you can't duplicate the art from Indiana Dunes country to Notre Dame to the Amish crafters. So we created this publication. And then we hired Midwest Living to create a foodie trail in the 7 counties. Again, food is a big thing, and people are looking for unique opportunities. Now, just to tell you what we did, we contribute $40,000 annually to this partnership. Now, if I pulled out today my $40,000, we'd buy $40,000 worth of marketing. But because we've leveraged it with 6 other counties and 350 private sectors, we have $1.8 million in marketing. And so that shows you the significance of working together. And then again, I like to tell people we got a website, we got a Cadillac of a website for the price of the Yugo because of this partnership. Now, one of the things we did is, if we hadn't been a partner of NITDC, we would have not known about this great opportunity to work with Midwest Living. So we followed them, and we hired Midwest Living to pick our top 10 restaurants. They came in, they mystery shopped, and they determined who, and they used their standards. And so they came up with our top restaurants. And they couldn't figure out who the top 10 were. That's because they have so many good restaurants. So they came up with the top 17. And they did all the writing. They created the piece, and we printed it. And we also created a fun video just to give you an idea of how we're promoting the culinary tour. being successful in the marketing we're doing. So we team up with each other to do research. The nice part about our research is it helps us benchmark from each other to see if something is going well for us, or if it's not, is it an issue with our destination. In this particular research, we're really excited about that. First of all, the visitors that came here, 78% of them went to the Indiana Dunes. And the thing that we're really excited about is that our Beyond Beach Discovery Trail, which has only been around for 5 years, 20% of the visitors have experienced that trail. So we're moving the needle forward on that. And then the other thing is, in terms of benchmarking, we found out through this research that our average age of a visitor is 35. That's less than most of northern Indiana, and that's because the Indiana Dunes draw such a strong family market. Now, the two things people ask us the most is how in the world did you form this partnership, because it's not easy, and secondly, how did you sustain it for 22 years? And what we tell people is, first of all, and these are the tips to any successful partnership, whether it's local or regional, is we started organically, it's bottom up and not top down approach. We created a strong foundation. You know, there are small bureaus that are in our partnership and they're treated equally regardless of their budget. We have a strong filter test to determine what projects we will do and that will benefit all of us. We respect and treat each other professionally. You know, we disagree, but at the same time, we continue to move forward. We identify issues in the organization and we fix them. We hired a strong management team that has advanced our organization. And last, this is really key, that a true partnership is a win-win for both partners. And our county has gained significantly because of this partnership. And just last, I want you to know that our partnership goes just beyond northern Indiana. We created the Beyond Beach Discovery Trail, which is 6 counties and links every city and town within Porter County. We are overseeing the Dunes Kankakee Trail that will go from the state park all the way to the Kankakee River. We have the Indiana Dunes Visitor Center. The commissioners own the visitor center, but the national park leases space from us. They're not there right now because the federal government is being shut down. That's impacting us. And then we have an exclusive deal with Indiana Dunes State Park, and we distribute the Indiana Dunes deal book at the gate to those visitors that are coming in. And then last, we're overseeing the countywide sports initiative, and that project's going really well at this point. So I just wanted to share with you today, you know, a lot of people don't know northern Indiana. We've been quietly working behind the scenes for 22 years, and we just wanted to make sure that people understood that we're part of a very strong regional partnership. We do have packets that we have the culinary tour guide in there. If anybody wants those, they're going to be left behind as well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You made me hungry when I just had lunch. I just guess. Is there any chance of reorganizing the building now while the national park people are not working?
We're moving that project forward, put it this way.
Take charge.
Exactly.
Anybody, you have any questions? I think it's a wonderful thing. How many years have you been working with All-Star County?
22 years. And I started as an intern when it just got it going, so I was able to see it from the ground up, and it's been pretty cool to see it grow.
It's really a great concept. I mean, the toll road touches all those communities and brings in the tourists.
Well, and they're trying to duplicate it on a larger level for economic development, and they have not been successful. You know, so we're trying to help people understand that there are things that you have to do to be successful. And I didn't realize how hard it was what we did until you start seeing other groups trying to emulate and do what we're doing, and they've not been successful.
Economic development is a difficult thing to achieve unless you have forces all over.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Well, thank you very much. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, Beatrice Owens, Director of the Porter County Substance Abuse Council, we're going to review the release of the drug-free community funds. Thanks for being here.
We also get money that comes from the drug interdiction. Those dollars are kept by the auditor's office. Kudos to the auditor's office for the fabulous job managing our money and taking care of that for us. Our fiscal year is October 1 to September 30th, just ended. At the end of the fiscal year, part of the coalition, a grant selection committee met, reviewed all of the grant applications that were submitted to the coalition, made decisions about the dollars that were available and the different categories. So we got a total of $188,745.89 that was collected in the year. So those dollars are then available to grant out according to the mandate. We have 4 different areas that we have to provide funding for. The first one is prevention and awareness. The second is treatment and intervention. And the third is law enforcement justice and the last is office. So those are the 4 different categories. We have a total of 42 applications this year. And I'm going to turn the choices over to Paula Granger, who is our chair, to talk about the selections of the grant selection committee.
Good afternoon to everybody. County Commissioners, thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to come in and speak to you today to tell you about our coalition. And my name is Paula Drifter, and I am the chair of the Porter County Substance Abuse Council. This year we had a wide variety of grant applications from our council members. And the grant selection committee spent the better part of the day reviewing all these grants and determining the grant awardees that would bring the biggest and best positive change in our county and reflect our Porter County Comprehensive Community Plan. As you can see from the packet, we will be funding evidence-based programming and in the schools and in our treatment facilities. We will be funding for a second year a new K-9 unit in Portage, and we will be funding our task forces, which is Red Ribbon Campaign and Drunk Driving Task Force. We will be funding drug testing in the schools. And this year, for the first time, we're very pleased to share that we are matching dollars up to $15,000. And every school that asked for the funds did, in fact, get the funds for drug testing programs. So if they were, say, able to test 25 students every month, with our grant dollars, they could then test 50. So it was to match. And then a total of $12,000 was requested, and as I said, every one of them was fulfilled. Once the grant selection committee makes the recommendation, it doesn't stop there. The full coalition has to approve it, and we must get the state's approval as well. And we have done so, and now formally request the release of the drugs in the drug-free communities account. And we have received the okays also from our coalition. And we also want to share a couple things that we've done in the past few years. We would like to formally request that our Red Ribbon Campaign Task Force be allowed to place the banner in the rotunda of this building from October 21st to October 31st and put red ribbons on the trees surrounding the building and the courthouse. This year, for the first time, the Red Ribbon Kickoff will be held in Portage, and Mayor James Snyder will be one of the presenters of the kickoff. And you are all welcome to come, and we would love to have you there on Monday, October 21st for that kickoff. And also, this is going to be at 10 a.m. at City Hall in Portage. As a countywide organization, it's important to reach out to the whole county. I want to add that we're also thrilled to tell you that all the superintendents have gotten together and agreed to collaborate with us, and they've come up for the week of Red Ribbon, which will be in the school starting from the 21st. We agreed that they were going to target every 6th, 7th, and 8th grader in all of Porter County through an interdisciplinary approach. So what they're going to do is every 6th grader will have the same lesson plan each day. So Monday being math, English, health, social studies, and science. So each one of those areas is going to be covered each day. And every 6th grader will have that same lesson plan for each one of those areas. Every seventh grader will have the same lesson plan, and every eighth grader will have the same lesson plan. And the purpose here is to have a conversation with our sixth, seventh, and eighth graders across the county, so that everybody is involved in that conversation and in that learning. So we want to take what we're saying and then also apply it. Then, just to let you know, we've been a very active and we believe a very impactful council, and we are also thrilled to tell you that we received a federal grant for drug-free communities. And that is a 5-year grant in terms of strengthening our coalition and being able to carry our work forward. And also, we are heading into now our 25th year as the coalition of here in Porter County. And finally, just to let you know, we're also in the plans, and we've been starting the work for working with businesses that want to become have the drug-free workplace for themselves. And so we have collaborated with Ivy Tech, and we have a program that is getting started and on its way. So we would really also like to thank the commissioners for allowing the Substance Use Council to have office space and the technology use as well. The council is very, very grateful and thankful for the support of the commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. We're very, very pleased with the college here, and it's a great help to the entire county. We have something in place for 25 years that most counties still would love to get started. So it's really, really a good plus for all. I just have one question. How many of the people you're giving money to this time are receiving it for the first time?
Actually, the board, well, something in the paper and determine that. Just so you know, in order to receive funds, they have to be members of the coalition. So they have to have been working on it.
But I also understood there were many people who were members of the coalition that had never received it. We're finding that hopefully we see that change.
Okay. Well, there's one that hasn't received one for a number of years. That's good. Of course, funding for the school for random drug testing, some of that we just can recover, which is good. And then every 3 years, the coalition will only fund the program for 3 years, and then they have to sit out and then come back. So we do have some of that occurring.
Do you lose people in that period? If you receive funds for 3 years and they have to sit out?
I've been, I've been part of the Porter County Council, not necessarily in a position where I'm running an organization or anything, but I can tell you that they stay. The people I network with are there, and then we also enjoy bringing in the new businesses and the new agencies that come in, and we've had quite a few, and in fact, we included one when we give different talks each month. We included a brand new business that came in to tell us all about their business.
Right, and one of the things that we do ask the recipients of the grant dollars is to think about sustainability. So here are dollars from the coalition, and you have the opportunity for up to 2 years worth of funding, putting it into it again. Are you going to be self-sustaining? Are there grant locations that you can go to for funding, et cetera? So that is something that we do ask.
Any questions? Okay, we need to do this two motions. A motion for the distribution and then a motion to allow the banners.
I'll make a motion to approve the release of $198,745 to be used for drug-free community fund.
Right, right, and if I can say, those billboards are fabulous, you know, we had an opportunity to see them, there's, one on 49 south, it's just, right at the tollway, and the other one is on 76, heading east, on the north side, right before 149. They look spectacular.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the work.
We also meet the second Thursday of every month at the Porter County Library at 7:30, really early. So we also invite you to attend that. Thank you. Second Thursday.
Absolutely, Department Head. John DePena, C911, Frontier Customer Arrangement. Hello. Good afternoon. How are you? Before you start, I have to give you some kudos. No, I attended I think it's the second or third annual Lights and Sirens Parade. And you had people going up and down both sides of the street promoting Smart 911. I thought that was a great idea, because there they are, they're kind of enthused about lights and sirens for whatever reason. And this is something that could really help their household and their families, their businesses, and every aspect of their life.
That's actually the second time we've done that. We did that with 44th of July parade as well. Yes, we've seen a significant increase. We also did a huge thing for the schools where I remember the thousands of.
Well, I thought it was nice that it was a business-sized card that you could just stick in your pocket. Or if you just, I see the
flyers,
people give flyers and
they end up on the ground.
they're on the ground or in the trash.
Those were the same cards that I think there are now some space for your username and password.
They do,
on that.
so they're very nice. I stuck mine in my pocket all the way while I was Smart 911.
Thank you for your support.
I would encourage everyone to sign up for Smart 911.
Yeah, the fair worked out fantastic. We were trying to get people from other counties to go to their council and commissioners.
All right, we want to talk about Frontier Customer Arrangement.
This is our normal yearly contract with Frontier for our 911 lines and our 911 service, which obviously we'd like to keep. It's actually gone down the last 2 years. The cost that you have in front of you is a monthly charge, unfortunately, but believe it or not, it's gone down. So, yes. Yes.
Questions? I guess we have to have phone.
Yeah,
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the customer arrangement with Frontier Communications for $7,677.74.
Motion and a second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Countywide mobile data computer system for all postal.
Yeah, this is the system that runs through almost all the police vehicles and a few of the fire vehicles, which we're hopefully getting to get more of. That's their mobile data computers in their vehicles. And this is another one that has not been upgraded since we've had updates to it, but never upgraded. This goes along, we had our computer-aided dispatch system is being upgraded as well by February, which we had the money put aside for that already, so we didn't have to come to anybody for money for that for the first time. But with this project, this takes us to the next step. It also helps out some departments that, because our current version, you can't use it on tablets, iPads, or Android. This version you can. Obviously, this is a joint project that we've worked on with that I've worked on with the former director that we put together. The issue that we have is where to take the money from, or where to get the money from. I obviously don't want to hit the hospital interest again, because I think everybody's tired of seeing me come and ask for hospital interest money.
You're smiling face.
They can't, well, they can't in their vehicles right now, but with this, if the department departments choose to, I don't recommend that they do, but for like administrative personnel, as opposed to buying a $1,500 computer, they can use a $500 iPad or a $400 Windows tablet, which obviously saves our municipalities and the county some money when it comes to that, because the computers that they have in their vehicles are the tough books, and they're built to take abuse. But a lot of your administration people don't really need to have that, because they're sitting, well, they're sitting at a desk, and kind of like me. With the seated project as part of my budget next year, that the council gave to me when we were doing my budget, that allowed me to have enough money in my rainy day fund to cover this project. Originally, we were going to pay for this project out of surcharge. However, after I met with the statewide 911 board director and the few other people from the state, it does not fall under the surcharge law. So we kind of ran into a little buzzsaw there. However, my overtime money is also coming out of my rainy day. It's not exactly a complete wash between the two, but what I would like to do when time comes, if the council approves of this, is to pay for this project out of the rainy day, and then in January come back and reappropriate the money out of my surcharge account to pay for the overtime. And that way there's money left still in the 911 or the rainy day fund. Plus, so we're kind of paying it out of surcharge, but we're not paying it out of surcharge. We're just moving money.
And I know you're aware of the cash transfer.
Yes.
Is this absolutely nothing?
It will be for the for when we finish our computer aided dispatch upgrade.
When's that going to be?
February.
When was the last time you had this updated?
We've had updates to it that never upgraded to current version. We're jumping to 6th version. That's where it's a good system. I mean, it's a good system, but we just need to Tiburon is moving people off these systems because it's getting too expensive. They have 25% of their customers on version 2.2, another 25 on 2.4, another 25 on 2.6, 2.8.
You mentioned the name that sent shivers up and down my spine. That's Tiburon.
Yes.
All my experiences with Tiburon have been expensive, to say the least. They have a software program that's out there. Everybody has to have it because it's the only one in the market. And then the next thing you know, they're going bankrupt. They're dissolving their corporation. And the next Tiburon, too, who happens to be owned by the same board of directors and the same group that had Tiburon 1, but who no longer provide service to their other outdated projects. Have they cleaned up their act?
Yes. Actually, we were just at the conference, their user group conference a couple weeks ago, and with their new board members and president and whatnot, they've got so much better. We will no longer have this issue with the upgrades. One of the things that they are doing is part of that enormous amount of money that we pay for the maintenance yearly. That is going to, I'm not going to say it's going to happen next year, but maybe probably in 2 years, that will include all future upgrades. Because they don't want their customers to be 6 versions behind or 4 versions behind, because again, it costs them more money. So, we're trying to catch up. That's the hardest part. I understand that I have come and asked for a lot of money over the last year and a half. But what we've done is we've massively improved our system.
Just like I said at the beginning of the meeting, the council's dilemma, they either have to cut or they have to grow their AV so that they have more revenue. What's the chance of the surcharge going up again this year?
We got a 1.4% increase in our hold harmless, which gave us about another, I want to say $100,000. So it's again, talk about this is the underfunded mandate versus the completely currently, we are getting about a 50% discount off of what this will cost after the first year. They have really reached out to us because the licensing is the most expensive portion of this, and they're going to finally get them free basically. Plus, they gave us some initiative or incentives on the actual cost of the software and the hardware. So we're probably looking at about adding another $200,000 to it after the first of the year.
Like buying a brand new computer, but only Windows changed.
Yeah. I would, again, I have a surplus and surcharge, which I don't like to really talk about too much because I don't want to hear us downstate.
But, you know, the state system, when it went into effect, gave that board the ability to raise that surcharge 10 cents a year.
Right.
They put the rate in too low to begin with, and they've only had 1 10% raise.
Well, there's been no none since it started.
None at all.
It started at 90, it's still at 90. What happened, the motion was made at, I think it was the June meeting, June or July meeting for the statewide 911 board. And it was made by one of the 911 directors that sits on the board. Barry Ritter, the director of the statewide 911 board, took it to the budgetary committee at the state, and they asked, because there was an additional $4.8 million that they brought in versus what I'll hold harmless was.
And that was divided between 9 counties.
All 92 counties.
Oh, yeah.
That's based 90% of that money is based off population. So yeah, we got an additional roughly $100,000 out of that. But once if you come in making more money than you're supposed to, they thought they could justify increasing it another 10 cents.
Well, I'm in favor of making this as up-to-date as possible. This is something that we can do now and not have to pay twice as much for next year. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? And if we have the hardware that will run it at the optimal conditions, and we don't have the optimal software, that's what we do. Capital improvements that we should.
I know it does. I don't like having to ask for money. That's why I never do. I mean, if I'm.
Well, it's your money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah. That's what I know. I'm just, but it's still. I believe in it, and that's.
After this, where are we at in the direction of this? Because I mean, we have a
Which-
that's a lot.
Yeah, yes, we have. I don't foresee anything in the future. I mean, we have stuff in the future.
Yeah, there's always going to be upgrades.
Right, but as far as the large projects, we do have to redo more of the radio system, but we're going to seek out larger grants for that, as opposed to coming and asking.
Kind of the last.
Yeah, there's one other one that, but if I can't pay for it out of surcharge next year, then I'm not even going to do it. And that's an automated dispatch system where it dispatches a call automatically for fire and EMS, not for police. It dispatches a call initially automatically with a computer voice.
Does that allow you to do a reduction in force?
I can't guarantee that. There are some things that we're looking at to be able to do that. Obviously, I wouldn't lay anybody off or get rid of anybody. We'd lose the restriction. This is actually, after last week was the first time in the 2 years that I've been we think with a couple changes that may occur in the next 6 to 9 months, that we could have a potential of a few people, not mass, obviously. We don't want to, because when the phone rings, somebody needs to answer it. Yeah. The reason that we have to have so many people is because we have so many radio channels that we have to monitor. Once we can start to look at consolidating those channels, so that's when we can start to look at it. But we still have to have people who answer the phone.
Any other questions? What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve the upgrade for countywide mobile and design for $250,000.
It's like 236, 825.
So since we see turning our original investment by not doing
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I hope it's
I can't think of anything else to do. I mean, I just, don't get me wrong.
Well, don't get us wrong. We absolutely want you to stay current. We want to do the best that there is. And to do that, we understand that it's resources.
so we don't have
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
And the last thing, that's over with now. The first project that we did was the simulcast radio system. And I sent all of you an email. That is currently up and running with no issues. And we've already seen better coverage. We've already got compliments from the South Department on the fact that they're no longer being underserved by our radio system. So,
Actually, I was listening to your radio the other day, and I heard a officer answer me from Beverly Shores, probably that
we're doing our best. So, but thank you very much, again, for all the support that you guys have given me over the last week.
Yeah, I always thought simulcast was such a less. It's nice to know we have it right here.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay, Walter Linkos, Parks Consulting Agreement. Anyone know what it makes you do? Animal shelter? No.
You should have one, just not some sort.
How are you?
Good.
What's up?
You have before you, should be an agreement with Short Elliott Henderson of Munster. This is a consulting agreement for trails and engineering design at Ricky Cross Gardens. Earlier this year, you all were able to allocate $60,000 on a seeded to support our efforts to improve parking and start a trail system at Ricky Cross Gardens. We have successfully installed and updated the parking area. That has been completed, so there's $45,000 left of that allocation. The contract you have before you is a do not exceed agreement with SCH for $54,500. Additionally, we have a $15,000 grant with the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, which will match up to $50,000 to 1-to-1 match. So between what's remaining in that account and the $15,000 from coastal, we still have more than enough to move forward with this grant agreement. I'm also happy to share with you that as a result of these efforts and our continued work up at the property, that we've been successful in our bid this year for a state grant from the Department of Natural Resources through the Recreation Trails Program. We're going to receive $150,000 to actually construct the trails that this contract will design for us. So we'll be able to hopefully go out to bid next year, and that's in addition to the $300,000 gift from a private organization to acquire the adjacent land. So things are rolling rather quickly.
I wasn't clear on that. The organization gave you $300,000 to purchase that property, or the property owner donated that property for that value?
No, they're definitely not donating it. We have a private party that's donating about $300,000 to the adjacent property.
And that's immediately to the north of the property?
Correct, yeah, it gives us the opportunity to be contiguous with the National Lake Shore now, so.
Does it cross the railroad track?
We believe, and this is, once we get through this, we'll clean up the details, but we believe that the owner still retains the rights to the dirt underneath the road, because they owned it prior to the highway being built. So according to their documentation, they own a sliver of land on the other side. So us from the National Lake Shore are really excited, because we're just on the other side of the campground. So there's
Good luck with that, don't get too excited.
Well-
The railroad's not going to be too anxious about putting that route.
Right, oh, no, we understand that. But still, it's really high-quality woodlands and wetlands. It's right next to some very sensitive areas. The DNR and the National Lake Shore staff have been out there with our team, and there's some really great plant species, animal species out there, so it's a really great opportunity.
Questions?
So it's not to exceed 24,500?
Correct.
And you have 15,000?
Correct, yep, we have a grant agreement with the Lake Michigan Coastal Program with the Department of Natural Resources, so they're adding 15,000 to the funds that we already have. Correct. And hopefully it's going to actually be less than that. That doesn't include any in-kind on our staff's part, and our staff are doing a considerable amount of work, so we'll be whittling that down as we go.
And the balance rate we have left over at the giving for the parking area, right?
Still exceeds, correct, so we'll have approximately, I think, 6,000, if my math is correct, as a recreation major, that we'll be able to come up with some fun things to do for the property by the end of the year.
Betty, would you review this? Any other questions?
You should have also received the additional documentation that was requested, I think, today. We have that electronically.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consulting agreement with SPH and the property for $39,500.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Bob Thompson, Planning Commission, Grant Writing Services Agreement. Good afternoon.
This is a request to go again with the grant writers, reaching hunters for another year for grant writing services for Porter County. They sent out a spreadsheet of different grants that they have been working with, and it's the parks and the Opera House. So as far as the grants that they have received, I guess I asked Walter to stay up here and see Michelle's in the back, so I mean,
Michelle, why don't you come up and tell us a little bit about that? What you got, your role in it.
Right now, we're working with the community division and
would like that. She requested it.
Thanks. The first item is a venue rental agreement. Those rental agreements that are currently in place that we've been using previously did not address all the issues that we've come across with promoters against the company throughout the year. So I put together another one and sent it to Debbie. Debbie saw it, approved it, and would like to move forward with using it.
Questions? The rate changes we're going to address next. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the rental form itself.
I'll make a motion to approve the venue rental agreement of Moore Law.
Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And then the 2014 rate changes.
For 2014, we increased our prime time and our regular time for normal ordinary renters. Regular time went up $25 per hour and prime time went up $25 per hour as well. Regular time weekdays, prime time weekends. The next is, we used to have a $100 refundable deposit, and now we are changing it to non-refundable, and we can have a clean and other items in between. And we're going to have to figure out a lot more now to keep up with all the rentals. We've increased the wedding fee from $500 to $750. The East lobby room, we increased from $50 to $100 for an hour and a half period. Then if you flip over to the back page, we increased all of the items that they can add additional to their rental, like additional tech person, they want rent the piano, our grand piano, that type of thing. We increased all of those to
Just to leave it.
we have to watch over them. We've increased those just to fit in more with what other venues are charging for that as well, because we were low. And we actually have had people booking for 2014 already, and they have booked for 2013.
Questions? Entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the rate change on the venue agreement for 2014.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much.
Centralized purchasing discussion. We, select rate boxes. Craig, would you come up with that? We are undertaking, the commissioners are undertaking a program that's new to us, and we appreciate your sales lady's help and input in it so far. But we want to make the process fair across the board, and we want to get a couple things across to our department heads and what have you, that we need to have some rules, I guess, if you will, about how we're going to do this. Yes, we need to have some other vendors make proposals for service. Is that an appropriate thing to do in this type of?
Request proposal would be appropriate, yeah, Chair.
So we could open that up, in fact, we could do that at our meeting today, and ask them to be in by our next meeting, November, first meeting in November. Give them time to do that. The other thing is, I know that you've had great experience with ArcelorMittal and many different large corporations. Is there a format, I know Kathy's been spearheading it on our end, is there a format in computer form that's easier for her to follow than others? Or?
Yeah, we could, I'm sure, provide something that uses boilerplate.
Our charge, I think, with our own departments and office holders is everybody had their supply line items stripped from their budget for next year by the council. Now, in doing so, my fear is that many offices are going to say, we need 14,000 widgets, and we always bought them from supplies. And we do have the wherewithal. In fact, we've already asked for the printouts for all purchases from last year for 2013, and found that they bought their 14,000 some other line item. So, what works best? Is it best to have one approval authority? In other words, everybody, every department head says, this is what I need, and Kathy's the final say? Or do we designate individuals in each department or office area that would have the ability to order what they need?
Different organizations work both ways. Having someone who oversees it is proven to be the most successful. You allow certain autonomy or leeway at the department level. Anything that's unusual in terms of one-time expenses needs to be approved by an overseer.
New title for you, Kathy, overseer.
Well, that's the best way to contain costs. And an observation that I've had is they're using, every brand is manufactured out there, so I would recommend that we go with standards.
Sure.
So a certain type of writing instrument, a certain type of paper, and so on and so forth. So we would be more than happy to offer some free counsel on how to come up with a standards program that would help drive costs out of the process and offer as much cost savings as we can for the county.
Well, I appreciate your being here today, because you were kind of at a loss, and it's always nice to shop locally, and that's why I asked you to give us some of your expertise, and we really appreciate it.
Be happy to work and provide you with some information here by the first next week.
Nancy?
I have a question. Is it possible that if we would let them, they could order it themselves and if we were to, then they have to order whether we pay it?
Yeah, use industry language, it's called core and non-core. So we would have, let's just use round numbers and say 1,000 items, which is not much in the office supply, so there's 1 million. 1,000 items that anyone can buy, and that's our core. And we have a non-core, which is everything else in the universe. Those items need to have the additional approval. 4 items, which are paper clips and legal pads and pencils, any user who's approved, and you can order either using online or fax, email, whatever. So we can set it up to allow for as much or as little governance as you folks approve. So we have the processes in place. We'll show you what those processes, and then you have choices, and then you determine how you want to go.
One of the things I know that the county's always benefited from is your statewide program that allows us to shop without worrying about having to competitively shop it, because you're obligated as a contractual member of that program to provide the lowest price possible.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Yes, everything that we would offer the county has already been bid out by the state for the federal GSA programs. So that's what I would recommend. They've driven the cost down. We purchase at a lesser cost from the manufacturer, and we in turn are obligated to provide it to the county at that price. We can't deviate a single penny. So you guys are going to get the very best deal possible from us, whether it be office supplies and or office furniture and or copiers. And we would like to include that all in a lump sum proposal, and you can pick and choose which one versus. That's the smartest way to do it.
And so that it's known that we'll entertain those proposals from anyone who wishes to make one up to the beginning of our next meeting, first meeting in November. So, let's go after that. Thank you very much, Greg.
By the way, this is very impromptu. You never told me I was going to be here.
You're always better off.
Thank you, John.
Okay, redistricting discussion. Did I miss the first one? I did. Let's do that first. Okay, we request to use the courthouse grounds. This is from Valparaiso Community Foundation for Friday, December 6th from 2 until 9. Holiday, okay. Holiday, it's like a Jack Frost Jubilee. Nobody wants to be Christian. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Request for transfer of funds, general fund. Okay. Fund $1,000.1030, $10,050 from 3220 telephone to 1220 medical and life insurance. Fund $1,000.1030, $71,300 from 3220 telephone to 1220 medical life insurance. Fund $1,000.1030, $80,000 from 3620 buildings and structures to 1220 medical life insurance. Fund $1,000.1030, $138,200 from 3950 contractual services to 1220 medical life insurance. And this is to assist with the expected shortfall. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a request for transfer of funds from Fund 4100.4109, $475.73 from 3310 printing other than office supplies to 3130 training and education. Fund 4100.4109, $123.05 from 3310 printing other than office supply to 2230 food and groceries. And this is for transport and feed injured falcon to a wildlife board. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, then the redistricting discussion. Last week, I was in Reseda. I think you got the virtual, or you got one, yes. The AIC sent out an email in reference to a study that's been done in regards to redistricting in the council districts throughout every county in the state of Indiana. The email noted the study and noted the proposed percentages that each of those districts were supposed to achieve as part of the redistricting. We've done some research. Indiana law requires that the auditor, who is our secretary of the body by law, call a meeting if the commissioner, if necessary, the auditor call a meeting to address the redistricting. So that's what we're going to do. We notify Mr. Schlitzky that he is to notice the meeting for this body on 1 week from today, on Tuesday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. in these chambers to finalize the redistricting, which will be done by this body. So we have the parameters. They've all been set forth by law. The law also says we are the only body that can do this, and that it must be done in a non-election year, and it must be done before a year before the next general election. So that's why it's imperative that we get it done now. The email also said that failure to do so would probably lead the county to a lawsuit. So we're not going to allow that to happen. Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Just that the law says that the population needs to be within 10% of each other, the four districts, and ours are around 25%.
Yeah.
So really not something we can ignore.
That we don't want to ask for a lawsuit. It's not like the chambers.
No.
Okay. Nancy, do you have anything?
Yeah, we're trying to do water for those who have resource funds and possibly just
I really feel sorry for you people down here. You don't have the luxury of Indiana American water, which not only tastes good, but is good for you. When we sent out the memo about the water coolers could no longer be on the county's budget, we got a letter from the prosecutor who was threatening to take us to court because we weren't supplying potable water to his building. Shahar, and Nancy sought out some proposals, one that will filter and does all kinds of good things to the water and will allow the water coolers to operate and not plug up. And is this the one you give this one from Osby for $280 per month to replace all current coolers and add the Fort Brewster jury room, $140 a month. Any questions? Pardon? Who's going to pay for it? Each one of the departments is located in the courthouse where the equipment will be installed. The water treatment equipment will share. They're all welcome to share. That's the Ball Probation, the clerk's office, Judge Harper, court administration, Judge Alexa, and the prosecutor. So they would like to have good tasting water. I'll entertain a motion. And second. All those in favor of going to the courthouse at clean water, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, anything else? Anybody wishing to address it?
I want to talk about the topic of stormwater utility.
Good topic, I like it.
Municipalities do it right now, and if we would do it for the county and do it for anything that's non-municipal, I think it would be expensive for us, because it would allow us to bond, and we'd be able to utilize the large projects that we have on the table, which we can do right now.
Well, and the other thing it would do is make it fair across the board. The way it currently exists, you have your regulated drains, and if you live on one of those regulated drains, and they decide to do a project on that regulated drain, then you get assessed. If they don't want to pick on your regulated drain, you don't get assessed. Everybody that lives in unincorporated Porter County benefits from the work that the Drainage Board does. And I'd like to call it Drainage Board, or I want to get away from the term MS4, because MS4 not only deals with the county's outflows, but it also deals with cities and towns outflows. So what we're looking for is something specific, and we can't regulate inside the municipality. So we're looking for something that's fair and equitable to the entire county and help solve the problem. You're exactly right. Unfunded mandates all across the board. But the biggest thing to me is that the people that live in unincorporated Porter County that are subscribed to conservancy districts and whatever still have water runoff and drainage that impacts the entire county. We're only taxing one group of people, so it has to be fair. And I say my other restriction is that if we do this and we're able to create a drainage board that has taxing authority or stormwater drainage management facility, that the assessment on legal drains has to go away. We can't double tax them. So I guess we should turn to our county attorney this morning and say, hey, would you research this ordinance to create a drainage board? What do we get last 11 minutes? Anybody else?